Greetings, Star Wars Unlimited fans. This is Nick, aka the Gandork, back this week for another Gandork Builds video. Last week, I did the Mando Cunning video. I did get a chance to play that deck at my weekly last week, and I went 3-0. So it did pretty good. I'm probably going to have like a revisit video that I'm going to post on that to kind of cover like maybe some of the changes I made or how I felt. What I felt needed to be changed with the deck after I got to play with it. But this week, we're going to go in a different direction. We're going to stay in Yellow Hero, oddly enough, but it's going to be a completely different deck. Today, we're going to build the Mandalorian. And not just any The Mandalorian deck. We're going to build a solo Mando deck. This deck is really interesting. I don't know how competitive it is in the current meta, but it can give some decks fits if they just can't deal with it, and Mando just crushes them. But with that said, let's go ahead and get into the deck build, courtesy of my friend Nerd Parker and his SWUDB deck builder, the best deck builder there is for the game. So yeah, we're going to build a Mandalorian deck, so let's pick that for our leader. And to go along with him, we're going to put him in blue. 30 health base. We might put some units in this deck, but this is going to be solo Mando, so we can't give him a shield with security complex, so that's not even in consideration. So it's whether we want like Navarro or the remote village. Let's put Mando in his vacation home in the remote village. So the concept behind this deck in my head, it's just going to be like a lot of blue control type things, like a lot of the blue control events, mixed with some upgrades to exhaust into, eventual like board control. And the goal hopefully will be to flip Lando out, buff him up a bunch, and have him be our win condition. There are going to be some risks to that, like if Mando gets locked down or taken out after he flips, it's pretty much GG. This deck's alternate win condition is going to be like milling out at that point. I think we're definitely including vigilances, so like that would be the potential like alternate win condition. But ideally, we want to flip Mando in, equip him all the way up, and then just have him win with 3-ish attacks to the base. That said, let's get started. I'm going to be looking at events and upgrades that I'm going to put in here primarily. So let's go down the list. This time I'm going to take a different approach. Last time I'm trying to explain my deck building process some. When I'm picking cards here, cards that I think might be a consideration, I'm going to give a 1 of in the deck. And cards that I think are like, this is an auto include, I'm going to have 3 ofs in the deck. And that's how we're going to go down. So like if I say look the other way, that's good enough to be a 1 of. Metal Ceremony, no. Public Enemy, potentially it's, we're not going to have a lot of units to give shields to till Mando flips, but it is a free exhaust. Wanted's probably a little bit better because we get the free exhaust out of it. Bounty posting, I'm going to give it 2. Essentially I'm using the card numbers to rank how strongly I feel about the cards. We're definitely going to have some bounty upgrades, as some of the upgrades we use to exhaust, so bounty hunting will be good. Ignore these. Confiscate's going to be a sideboard card, most likely, in case we need it versus decks that'll try to like entrench Mando or do something along those lines. Covert Strength is not it can buff Mando, so I guess maybe we could consider having some that just hang out in our resource row to be able to buff and heal Mando so he doesn't die. Disarm, it's an okay. We're probably going to find way better events than Disarm. Enticing Reward is amazing in this deck. We're going to be all non-unit cards or mostly non-unit cards, so being able to go through the deck and find what we need to live is going to be great. Don't need any of these. Don't need McClunky. Don't need any of these. Let's go ahead and just turn. Can I turn off? Yeah, I can turn off. I don't even want to look at ground and space. There we go. I don't want to look at units right now. All units gone. This makes it way easier. Moment of Peace, not great. Mystic Reflection, not great. Protection, not great. I don't hate the idea of repair as a stabilization. It probably won't go in because we're going to Vigilance for sure. Resilient, kind of want stuff that makes Mando like actually stronger too, and I think we're going to have better upgrades. Let's get it just in case, though. It is an upgrade. We just can't play it early. Restock could be a card this deck plays with its alternate win condition. Rich Reward, not really. Shoot First, not really. Smuggler's Aid is a maybe. Nope. Snapshot Reflexes, maybe. Like, I think we have to limit the amount of upgrades we have to play on Mando after he flips. We're going to have some, like, Hotshot Blaster and Mando's Rifle. Maybe some Mando armors. But we have to be careful with, like, how many upgrades that we can't play until he actually flips onto the table. Swoop down. Top target. Top target is really good. Like, it can be a big part of just keeping us alive till Mando flips or stabilizing after he flips. So that's probably going to be a 3 of. We have no one to rescue, so Unexpected Escape is doing nothing that any of our other upgrades don't do. We're not in double. Not having anybody to shield. Bamboozle is a card that might get main or side deck support. Boba Fett's armor, like, I may not hate as like a 1 of upgrade, even though we're not Boba Fett, but just to have a +2/+2. We don't have academy training in blue, so it's kind of there. Same with Devotion. Might be one of those cards to help us stabilize. Same with, Electro Staff probably just gets played over Boba Fett's armor, so let's just go there. Yeah, I'm going to remove Boba Fett's armor. Entrenched is a possibility to use defensively, though I don't know if we're going to run like an out-of-aspect Super Laser Blast, just because, we'd have to go to 10 resources, but like that might be something this deck does. Imprisoned, not sure if I need it. It binds, nope. Jetpack, Jetpack's kind of like Covert Strength in that it's like something that helps us keep Boba alive and makes them bigger after he comes out. We start smuggling these out of our resource row to give Boba shields and make him hit harder. And exhaust something. There's a good chance we'd probably play 2, maybe 3 jetpacks. Luke's lightsaber is interesting, and then it's just a big power upgrade, but I don't know if it makes the cut. Mando armor is probably a 1 or a 2 of for post flip. We're not double blue. We're not sneak attacking. Spark of Rebellion is gonna need to be a 3 of in this deck because this is gonna be our primary way to stop anybody trying to do stuff that's gonna make us lose. Like, we need to get all of those Rivals Falls out of their hand. We can't deal with that. Surprise Strike, not great. Its window is too limited. This is the ways maybe, like, we're going to have stuff it can dig out. Unrefusable Offer is probably playable. Give us some tricks. Van Brace Grapple Shot, compared to Electro Staff, like, hopefully we're not attacking into defenders. Hopefully we're moving defenders out of the way and we're just attacking the base. So I don't know if that even makes a cut. Evidence that the crime isn't going to work. Jedi Lightsaber, because it's a +3/+3, makes it interesting. Yeah, that's why I would consider it over like Luke's, even though we're not a Jedi. Make an opening, great removal card. We're probably going to play 3. Really good against like stuff like Lurking TIE Phantom now, and there's just a lot more 2 health units getting played. Outmaneuver is definitely super interesting in this deck. Relentless Pursuit, also super interesting post-flip. Spare the target, absolutely. We're going to be playing bounties, and this is like a waylay we can play without bounties, but if we did play our bounties out, then we can capitalize on them, absolutely. Mando's Rifles, we want 3 of those. That's like the big upgrade of this deck. I don't know if I'm going to have Spare the Target and Waylays, but let's put 1 Waylay in there as a maybe. We're not You're Only Hoping. Probably not Out of Aspect Cunning in this deck. Not Yeah, no, don't get cocky. Not really. Fell the Dragon. Good chance we're playing that. Good chance we're playing takedowns. Probably three of. Forces with me, not doing it. Vigilances for sure as like a de facto control deck. Vanquishes, yeah, like I don't know what the amount of like vanquishes and rivals falls and evacuates are gonna be, but I feel like all those make the cut. And Change of Heart's probably gonna make the cut as a sideboard card. All right, I think we picked pretty good like starting shell of like cards that we want in this deck to do the thing. So, and we got all events and upgrades. No units to consider now. So I think we kind of want to look down this. Like I don't think we're playing some of the like look the other way to exhaust a unit. I would rather play like a bounty effect and exhaust a unit. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Confiscate's gonna be a sideboard card at best. Covert Strength might go in. I don't think we disarm in here. Like, is this a weird stall? We're not really getting the attack, so let's get rid of that. Let's say we don't care about repair because we're going to Vigilance. We probably care about having a restock or two, main or side. Let's sideboard the restock for now and see if we want to bring in any main. Smuggler's Aid is kind of like where repair is. I'm just going to cut it for now and see if we can just, think Vigilance is going to do the job we need to do. Bamboozle, I'm going to move to the side as a potential upgrade hate. We know we want the sparks in here. This is the way. I'm going to leave it one of. It's going to be one of those cards that, like, we're searching for Mandalorian and upgrade cards. I don't know who he is. Yeah, no, Mandalorian armor isn't even Mandalorian, so like we're purely just searching for upgrades with it. I think we probably cut this is the way. I don't know. Like, essentially, we're hoping Enticing Reward does that, but better, because it lets us grab whatever we want. So we'd rather just Enticing Reward, exhaust something, kill the unit with Enticing Reward, get to go draw our, whatever we want. Instead of being stuck to just the upgrades, like this is the way it does. Even though that's a huge theme fail, but we'll make do. I don't hate Outmaneuver as another stall card if we're like on our way to an evacuate. Spare the targets for sure 3, takedowns a 3, vigilance is a 3. Change of Heart's probably a sideboard card versus control. But I think we're probably leaning on like evacuate to do like heavy lifting if the board gets out of our control. So, with Vigilance that aspect, like 3 Vigilance, 3 Evacuate might be too much. So we might end up playing something like 2 Evacuates main. So I guess I'm not super getting into the weeds on the curve yet. Let's just keep going down. Like, I think all these are definitely strong play considerations so far. Upgrades. Public Enemies probably... It's probably one of the worst bounties. Like, the biggest thing it has going for it is that it's free. But, like, I could just run 3 wanteds, 3 enticing rewards. I don't know. I might regret cutting it, but I'm going to cut it for now. Resilient, as far as upgrades that we're going to put on our own guys, that's definitely not something I'm super worried about. Same with Snapshot. Like, we're playing, like, late game attrition. We better hope we can just control the board once Mando flips and then just, crush face. Top target is, honestly, it's one of the best bounties in the set. Like, Enticing Reward has got a lot of attention, but top target for that 6 heal on, like, a unique dude, like, we can really extend the game. I like that a lot. Let's see, what other stuff we have here. Like, we have to be careful with some of just, like, the actual upgrades, because they don't actually do anything until we flip Mando. So we kind of have to limit. Like, I think Unrefusable Offer is good. And Mando's rifle is our biggest payoff, so we definitely want 3 of those. Jetpacks we like because they can go into the resource row and we smuggle them out. So I'm going to put 3. Oh, I know what we're missing. Like exactly like jetpack. Like we have all these other ones that we have to wait to play. Like this is where smuggle is pays off huge because like we can just put jetpack in the resource row and forget about it, and then wait till Mando flips and then start bringing this stuff out. And the one that we didn't get from this list that is technically one for our deck that I need to go dig up is the Hotshot DL44. We're definitely playing probably 3 of those. So like post flip Mando, like we want to be smuggling jetpacks and Hotshot DL44s out, exhausting stuff, attacking stuff, making our Mando bigger, and we kind of want to limit how many upgrades of the other types we play out after the fact. Let's see, like, like does Jedi lightsaber make the cut at all over devotion Electrostaff? I don't think it does. Like I think we need to cut some of these. Same with like Mandalorian armor. So hard to like. If we get this early, it's a resource and we never get it back. Like maybe we can play like a one of Mando armor, one of Electrostaff. I do like devotion a little bit more because it helps us stabilize post Mando flip. Instead of just making him bigger. Like I think I like devotion more than say an Electrostaff, even though Electrostaff makes it hard for people to attack and to kill. I think ideally we're hoping we have the board relatively controlled. Entrenched is interesting. I think Entrenched is something that like we could play as removal versus space units. We're never playing it on Mando. And I think there's a huge risk to playing it onto the ground because it leaves us in a spot where we have to like play it on their ground unit and then we have to follow it up hopefully with some other removal or an evacuate before we can flip Mando into play. Because it's like, yeah, the the 4 or 6 4 or less remaining HP, 6 or less remaining HP, like the entrenched, it's going to put them out of our range. So like, how many entrenched do you play just to be like an anti-space card? That's all it's really doing. It probably doesn't make the cut. I think it's probably too risky overall. Yeah, so entrenched ends up being, I think, a cut. Like, I think it's just its scope is too small for this deck. So it's like I don't know if we can play just a Mandalorian armor. I think we're cutting. I think we're gonna be relying primarily on smuggled hotshots and jetpacks out of hand, and Mando rifles to buff up our Mando when he flips. And I think maybe we could rely on some covert strength smuggles as well. And we can shield him up with like vigilances if it gets to that point. So I think the deck is starting to take shape. We're still at 54 cards. Let's just cut the extra waylay because we're going to spare the targets. Do we play the bounty posting over just... I feel like bounty posting is like really good. Like if we need healing, we can get it. If we need enticing reward to dig stuff up, we can get it. See, this is where we start getting the tough cuts. And like maybe some of these cards should be sideboarded. Hard to say. I think wanted, even though it's free, let's cut that. It's like the least impactful, I think, because we're not probably chaining a lot of cards together. We just like that it's free. Maybe I cut that down to 0. And I like maybe the unrefusable offer can do work. God, like enticing reward, top target, unrefusable offer are just both cards that can do crazy amounts of work. And it's hard for me to want to cut those. 2 devotions because we mostly want it late game. Makes sense. And we want pretty much all the hot shots and the Mando rifles. I don't think I can cut any of those. I guess Covert Strength probably just gets busted. Now we're at 51 cards. And where's the other cut? That last cut. Other people would be like, you should just run 51. No, I say, we must have discipline to cut the cards down to 50. And it's probably putting one or more of these into the sideboard. Like maybe I sideboard Fell. I think I'm okay with sideboarding a Fell and then bringing in Fells. Okay, so we're at 50 main. And we have these 5 considerations on our sideboard. Now, I know up to this point I've not had any units, but I think there is a couple units I would consider for the sideboard, just for the potential to stop us from our auto loss situations where, say, the opponent rivals falls us or Mando, or has some power failure, like something really weird that can just ruin our day. And I think one of my favorite units is actually out of aspect for this. So let's go ahead and get this to switch. Go look up Bazine. I think we want Bazines in here on the side. She costs us 6 if we want a smuggler, or 4 if we want to play a regular. But I like this as an option of they're holding on to that Rival's Fall to ruin our day. Let's see what they have in their hand. Pitch whatever can ruin our day, and we can see if they have other stuff that'll ruin our day that we got to play around. So I think that makes sense. I'm going to put 3 Bazines in the sideboard. I think a restock in the sideboard makes sense. A Fell of the Dragon in the sideboard makes sense. Some Change of Hearts in the sideboard makes sense. Yeah, we have Bamboozles. We don't really need Confiscates. Let's just run like 1 restock, 3 Bamboozle, 3 Bazine, 1 Fell, 2 Change. So like we have some control stuff. We have some upgrade hate. You can make an argument that maybe we should be running like a 3rd Evacuate in the side for those mid-range matches, but I think we can handle them more or less. So, all right, so let's kind of just double check our curve here. We want, like, the curve in this deck is going to be weird because we don't necessarily need a round 1 play. Our round 1 play might be Spark, or we just save Spark, or like our round 1 play, like I don't know if necessarily we play any of these upgrades round 1. Like I could see this deck most of the time passing round 1, round 2, or claiming round 1. Round 2, you play anything to exhaust or kill. Round 3, you're just exhausting, killing, exhausting. Like that is the name of the game. Till you get to your flip, and then hopefully like flip Mando's rifle, jetpack. Can't play both of those. I guess we're flipping on 6 resources, so like maybe it's Mando's rifle, hot shot, smack their face. Maybe it's like flip into Relentless Pursuit. Like that's one of the things that make me like Relentless Pursuit post flip is a great way just to flip the whole board and protect your Mando. Like we have the 2 outmaneuvers here. Like I wonder if like it should be like a 1 outmaneuver, 3 Relentless, just because this is so strong post flip. I think that makes sense. Yeah. And I think like going up the cost then at that point, like we have, plenty of low cost bounties that we can play to exhaust. And then, going in like to 3 costs, we have Make an Opening. We have Spare the Target. Can't really Relentless Pursuit. Outmaneuver doesn't make sense. Into 4 costs, we got Takedowns. We've got Fells. Into 5 costs, we got Vanquishes, and then 6 costs, we start to hit all of our things. We got some Rival Falls, Vigilances, Evacuates. And then hopefully after flip, then we get just a bunch of stuff that does work. All right, let's go ahead and name the deck. Mando Season 1. Makes sense. And let's save it. And let's look at the image here real quick. There she is. Yeah, that's a pretty good looking deck. I'm happy with the way it turned out. It's interesting that I think if you play this deck into some matchups, it's going to feel real oppressive as your opponent just doesn't have the, like, if they don't have like Rivals Falls or like aggressions, like just to clear off like these upgrades, or like other ways to like kill your leader, like you might just flip and start just suiting up, and then they can't even get through your Mando. I do think maybe we should have played some more health upgrades. Like, I guess that's the one thing. Like, ended up cutting all the upgrades except for Devotion that actually gives more HP to Mando. Kind of relying on the jetpacks to shield him up instead. Which, I mean, shields are valuable, but like Saboteur is a thing, and they don't really increase his HP. But like, you do have jetpacks, and don't forget Vigilances to keep shielding him up. Relentless Pursuit. It's like your Mando can just start collecting a ton of shields as a strategy once he flips. Anyway, I think this would be a really fun deck. It's kind of balanced on the edge of a knife if your opponent can answer you or not, but go ahead and try it out. See how it goes. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.